So cops accuse this man of jaywalking, and then this happens.
Red hoodie? Yeah, you, sir. Reason why are you getting stopped right after I'm reaching here? Man, back up off me.
They grab him and he gets taken to the ground.
Hey, stop.
The man was charged with resisting arrest, but that charge was later dropped. All of this over jaywalking? Really? Let me know your thoughts on the body cam, but it looks to me like maybe the cops were concerned he could have a weapon or something, and they didn't want him to reach for it. But even if that's the case, think about what happened. The footage is a little hard to hear, but it seems like they just roll up out of nowhere with their lights on and accost him, and then go from 0 to 100 without really giving him clear commands or time to do them. It's very hectic. And it looked like he had his hands up, and then he had his hands out when he was eventually taken to the ground. Maybe the cops will claim he was trying to continue to reach for his waistband after he put his hands out, or something like that, but it doesn't quite look that way to me. Again, it's a little hard to hear and see. Generally, when police use force, courts will look to factors like the severity of the underlying crime, the threat posed by the suspect to officers and others, and if the suspect is trying to resist or evade arrest. Here, unless the cops were investigating the guy for something besides jaywalking, or unless the jaywalking was done in a way that was super dangerous to traffic, then the underlying crime here is the most innocuous of crimes, jaywalking. And maybe the cops were concerned about a weapon, but he eventually had his hands up, and he wasn't fleeing, but he was trying to back up a little bit from cops, so maybe you can count that as a little bit of resistance. Also, it looks like there's at least 2 cops here, so there's a huge power imbalance as well. Ultimately, I need more information to make a full analysis, but preliminarily, it doesn't look great for the cops. And cops generally need reasonable, articulable suspicion that someone's involved in criminal activity to detain them, and maybe they had that necessary suspicion to detain him here, but there's a difference between what you can do and what you should do. I don't have all the information yet about what led up to this, but unless the guy jaywalked in a super unsafe way or something like that, then here's what I would have done. If this was just a simple jaywalking and I was the cop, I wouldn't have even put my lights on. I would have just said, hey, you're not detained or anything, but I saw you jaywalk, I think. Just please don't do that again. And then I'd walk away. And if he just jaywalked when there was no traffic around and it really wasn't unsafe or anything like that, I probably wouldn't have said anything because everyone jaywalks. It's not that big of a deal if there's no harm to anyone, if there's no cars around and it's not done in an unsafe way. Who really cares that much? Why escalate things? It seems like if the cops were really concerned with officer safety, they wouldn't have escalated things like they did. A lot of the times they do stuff like this because they want a fishing expedition. They want to investigate them for a crime other than the one that they claim they are detaining them for. I don't know if that's the case here, but that kind of thing happens all the time. Let me know what you think about the body cam footage in the comments. Also, apparently these cops have a history of suspensions, as you can see here. A lawsuit is underway, so we'll see what happens and we'll see what other information comes to light.